Hey, what's up, everybody? TJ and Carrie here with Muscle Growth Mindset. We're going to hit on an interesting, I don't want to call it a fad diet. It's not a fad. It's been around for a long time. But
it actually has.
It's a new diet that's been a lot of talk. It's the Carnivore Diet.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, this is the polar opposite of a plant-based diet, right?
Right.
So, you know, I know a lot of people, there's a plant-based craze going. You can see it all over the place, all over society, in all the grocery stores and everything. But now there's an opposite end of the spectrum that's coming to battle the plant-based diet. It's the carnivore diet, and the claims are that plant-based things are bad for you. I hate to say bad, but can cause some issues.
Right.
Right? So if you eliminate all these plants, it can be beneficial. Is that right?
Yeah, I had been doing a heavy plant-based diet for quite some time, 6, 8, 9, 10 months before hearing about this.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were talking about our next topic. TJ asked me to look into this. I'm thinking, carnivore diet? I mean, that sounds really stupid.
That was kind of my first thought, too, is I thought it was a fad type thing. And I'm like, come on, like what?
Some meathead decided that eating meat all the time.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, that's brilliant.
But there is something to it.
Right. He asked me to start looking into it, so I started doing some research, and you know there was some decent information out there. And then finally, I heard from a couple different women talking about their stories. One lady did it for 10 years, or has been doing it for 10 years. And previously, before that, had been changing her diet, had lots of problems with bipolar disorder, depression, and you know, she went to keto. It kind of went away for a little while, and then it came back, and then you know, she completely cured. She was a computer programmer, really smart lady, Amber Hearn. She completely cured all symptoms by going no plant products, a carnivore diet, which is the goal of the carnivore diet, not to just eat steaks all the time. It's to remove all plants, which by that I mean you eat steaks with no garlic, no pepper.
Yeah, before we get too deep into some of the stuff, like let's start with that. What is the carnivore diet? Like it's a meat only diet?
It is animal product only diet, and that is also usually including no dairy, because most people who have adverse reactions to plants, a lot of them have adverse reactions to dairy.
And I know that this isn't just eating steaks, like you said, or eating chicken or whatever. Like you have to get all your nutrients, and we'll get into this, but you can do that by eating, they call it nose to tail. So you have to eat more than just steaks, and we can get into kind of more details of that. But there's things like liver and things that you gotta eat to meet some of your nutritional needs.
Right.
So Amber O'Hearn, she kind of cured bipolar
and depression.
Depression.
And there's another one, a lawyer, his daughter, Michaela Jordan. I think his name is. I don't remember what his name is, but Michaela, the girl, his daughter, she had rheumatoid arthritis since the age of 7 and was suffering a lot of problems. She had to have a hip replacement when she was young. Was depressed, sleeping up to 17 hours a day. And she started in 2015 with the carnivore diet and total remission of all symptoms. And once I heard that, I mean, I'm thinking, what? I'm a scientific minded person. The first thing I think is why? How?
Right.
How does this happen? So then I started doing some real in-depth research. Doctors who are into it, doctors who have studied functional medicine and nutrition. And there's a lot of good information about it. So
what's that answer? How does this happen?
The idea is that for these people suffering from inflammation of the body, either neurologically or physiologically, which includes a lot of different diseases, some, like I said, neurological, bipolar disorder, depression, physiological. I've been going through a lot of the data, a lot of people who have suffered from various diseases like Crohn's and Hashimoto's, as well as rheumatoid arthritis, eczema. They have cured, some of them have cured all of the symptoms entirely, completely. A lot of them have alleviated a lot of the worst symptoms. It depends on what kind of disease it is, but pretty much every inflammatory disease in the body symptoms have at least improved, if not been alleviated. And the idea is that plants, their defense mechanism, animals have claws and feet and wings that can run or fight. Plants only have chemicals. And so plants produce toxins that can cause adverse reactions in people that are not as genetically adapted to it.
Okay. So plants are poisonous.
For some people. For some people, definitely.
That's coming from the guy that doesn't eat vegetables over here. I don't like vegetables anyway.
And I was trying to get him to eat vegetables for so long, and now
I'm like, aha! See, there's some reasoning here.
Right. So I'm actually on week 2 of trying the carnivore diet. So I have to find out. I want answers because all I have is anecdotal evidence. I'm trying to find my own answers.
Okay. Well, there's. I mean, it sounds great that it can help with a lot of these symptoms and cure some of these things, but it seems like there could be some negatives here, or side effects, or problems. Like the first thing I thought of is digestion. Like, so I'm gonna just eat meat all day, and I'm not gonna have any roughage. I'm not gonna have any fiber. I'm not gonna have any, anything from plants. How am I gonna digest all this food, all this meat?
Okay. So first off, there is no evidence that fiber is actually important for digesting meat.
Whoa.
In fact,
You have to have fiber.
they're actually
They say you do.
right, but it's an epidemiological studies that prove that, which is epidemiological is most of the time it's people doing a lot of things to get healthy. So these people that have improved health from eating fiber are usually going to be exercising and drinking less and not smoking. So removing one factor is almost impossible. To have people only eat more fiber as the only change in health they're doing would be a way to measure it accurately, and there are no tests like that. So I was listening to a couple different guys talking about the fiber idea, and it's pretty much, I've been convinced that it's a myth, that it doesn't do a whole lot for you. It absorbs cholesterol, right? But it doesn't just absorb bad cholesterol, it absorbs good cholesterol. It also will absorb cholesterol-like hormones in your body, like estrogen, testosterone, cortisol. So fiber is
maybe not as good as
right.
they say.
Yes.
And I didn't even realize this and think about it much until we had started talking about this, but I can kind of speak from experience, like, because I don't eat much in the vegetable department. I usually will drink like some super greens or something like that just to try to supplement. I don't really take fiber. I will sometimes during prep just because I think like, oh, I'm eating all this high protein diet, I probably need some fiber, but honestly I have a really, really low fiber diet. My main carb source is usually rice. Sometimes I do sweet potato, but pretty much rice, which is
white rice,
not real fibrous.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't have any digestive issues. Like I'm regular. I don't bloat. I don't have any like gassy issues or anything like that. And if you think about it, like all these plants and stuff, what happens when you eat broccoli? Like you are bloated and gassy. Like a lot of this stuff, it causes that gas and bloating feeling.
Okay, so another thing, before I started out, I was listening to them talk about a study where there were several gastrointestinal studies, but one was about people going from 100% of their normal fiber, 50%, and then 0%. And the people, this is a little bit of a debate between two guys, and the people that removed 100% of their fiber, that got to 0 fiber, had all negative symptoms in digestion removed. No bloating, no gas, no constipation, nothing. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
And in my experience, going to the carnivore diet, there definitely were some changes, right? But not negative. There's no bloating. There's no. You don't feel like fiber's a pain, dude.
Yeah, literally. Sometimes it's a pain.
Especially now that I've gotten rid of it, I'm like, dude, I don't know if I want to do that again.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's one thing I did notice, because like I said, in my prep, sometimes I'll add fiber. I'll do some fiber in my morning drink or fiber in the evening, and I notice it causes more discomfort than anything. I just get bloated from it, and
yeah,
I don't really notice an issue going to the bathroom or anything. I don't. Like I said, I'm on a really low fiber diet, and I don't have any issues.
Yeah, I've had 0 so far.
And I work with a lot of competitors and do nutrition for quite a bit of people, and it's I usually put vegetables on their plan, and usually it's pretty high fiber diets. And I have a lot of people that have issues with some of these things, and so I'll be experimenting with some of my people. I won't change things 100% for everybody yet, but I mean, if I can see some more evidence, if remove some of the fiber and some of these people's digestive issues and bloating and stomach issues goes away, then I could be sold on this.
Yeah.
Okay. That's off topic a little bit, but that being said, so digestive wise, like how does all that meat process and everything like?
It's so what there's a lot of people are saying is that it's more bioavailable nutrition than you'll find in plants. Like I find that my digestion is working better than it ever has. I think there was a little hiccup there for about 2 days as my intestinal microbiome had to adjust.
Yeah. I'm
sure a lot of the ones that were dealing with the plants were dying out and new ones were repopulating, but everything's running fine now.
And I think that's any major dietary changes, you're going to have a couple of day hiccup with digestion. So that's expected. If you were to go from carnivore to plant-based,
right,
or any diet change,
yes,
then you could probably see that. So some other things, like you're eating all this meat, like one thing I'm thinking too is heart disease and saturated fat and things like that. Like,
okay,
isn't that bad for you? Isn't red meat bad for you? You go to any cardiologist and they're going to say red meat's bad. So
saturated fat in general is going to be bad. Now, the way to alleviate a lot of these high-fat diets is to be in ketosis. That is because, so pretty much everyone who goes any kind of, so carnivore is not the ketosis diet, but it is a form of ketosis because you're not getting any carbohydrates in externally. And they show for every person who's in ketosis, there are positive blood markers for lipid profiles for every single person. So basically all those fats that you're bringing in are getting broken down into ketones for energy, so they're not clogging up your system. So your heart is generally going to be healthier, but you have to be in ketosis. In fact, they say there's a lot of short-chain fatty acids that you don't get enough of that you have to produce in your gut with fiber. However, they have found that when you're in ketosis, those ketones can be broken down quickly into the short-chain fatty acids you need. So it's actually not as necessary. As long as you're in ketosis, you're following the carnivore diet to the absolute maximum. You're not taking any plants in, no carbs at all. You should be fine. Your lipid profile, your heart, no missing short-chain fatty acids.
Okay, that's interesting. So let's get more into how are we going to meet all our vitamin, mineral needs? You're this guy's Mr. Polyphenol over here. Used to be anyway. This carnivore thing may change that, but that was a big thing about being plant-based and a lot of vegetables is polyphenols. We do know there's a lot of benefits there. Mm-hmm. A lot of health benefits to having a lot of polyphenols, which come from plants. So how do you replace that? If you're not getting that, if you're not getting all the vitamins and nutrients you're getting from plants, so where do you get them?
I haven't yet had a good explanation for how to replace those. What I'm seeing though, what I believe is that it's not necessary. That first off, on every polyphenol supplement you have, it is usually not that polyphenol isolated. It is plant material, just encapsulated plant material. And if you have toxins in there that are causing inflammation, that maybe you don't need the polyphenols to help prevent that. I think if you're reducing inflammation body-wide, you're going to have better health markers. In fact, there was that lady from that the fat show. What was the one where? Anyways,
the lady from the fat show. Biggest Loser?
Biggest Loser.
Okay.
She was talking about how
did I figure that out?
Yeah, the carnivore diet and the keto diet was total crap, and she said it reduces, it shortens your telomeres, and
the trainer from there.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Yeah, And I went and immediately started sifting through data, and the keto diet says it improves markers of aging. Sometimes though, like there's so much people throwing data around. This is my data. This is my data. This is my data, and a lot of it contradicts each other.
Yes.
What I look at is people, anecdotal evidence. Now it's scientifically that's not always accepted in the community, but if you're seeing someone improve all markers of health, blood markers where they do have data after following a diet, you've got to go why. We don't have all the answers. I sift through the biochemistry database, PubMed. I sift through these articles, and so often at the end or in the middle, they point out that more research is needed. We don't understand the mechanism.
Yeah.
So what happens inside the body is poorly understood right now. So what are the results?
Yeah, this in, this out.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know necessarily in there what happened.
We're trying to figure out the mechanism as we speak, and maybe once we get to some nanotechnology, we'll be able to do that. But for now,
we're just doing the best we can.
yes.
Theory.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Kind of tell us what you've gone through, how you feel.
Early on, I felt a lot better, and I don't know if that was psychosomatic. Before the keto flu hit, I was feeling pretty strong. I was feeling good. And now that I'm in the middle of keto flu, I'm not feeling real great. And I heard warnings about this. I read in the literature. Everyone goes through this. It's okay. It's just an adaptation process before the body adapts to using fats as fuel.
Yeah.
But I need a nap after school every day. I have to caffeinate a lot. My brain...
Hold up. How do you get your caffeine?
Coffee. Okay, so that is a plant, right? In the literature I read before going into the Carnivore Diet, because I did a lot of research and tried to figure out what else people have done, they say don't give up coffee in your first 30 days. If you drink coffee, don't put yourself unnecessarily, because you're already in a hole, man. This week is terrible. They say don't go through that without coffee if you drink coffee.
Yeah.
And, right, but I did already give up pepper and garlic. I mean, I got rid of every other plant, so coffee's my only one. Brain fog, like I'm having a hard time remembering things right now. I'm sure the lady from, I'm on the struggle bus this week, but I'm almost
that's
done.
normal though. That's not. I mean, that's anytime you have to get in ketosis.
Mm-hmm.
This is completely normal. It's
Yes.
not a carnivore thing. That's a keto thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of people. I know a lot of people that are on keto diets or are attempting keto diets, but it's rare for people to really get in ketosis and really push through this phase. Keto is a legit diet, but it's also a fad that people like because whatever.
They still drink or they still eat a few carbs at night.
And they're not getting in ketosis. And that's the whole point of a keto diet. The whole point of the carnivore diet, you have to get in ketosis. And once you do, you should start feeling a lot better. You'll be a lot more clear-headed.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. And everybody's different. You know, we could have started at the same time, and maybe I would have been through it already. And it may take him 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the timeline there to get in ketosis is different for everybody.
I hope this is the last 3 weeks.
Kerry's also getting ready for a powerlifting meet right now. So he's 3 weeks out from today from a powerlifting meet. So he started this 5 weeks out from a powerlifting meet. So I'm curious to see how the strength gains come or go.
Yeah.
With the energy being down and things like that. He's down, what'd you say, you're down about 10 pounds?
10 pounds.
Yeah.
Water weight, obviously, because I'm losing glucose. Yeah.
That's pretty normal too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what sells a lot of keto diets is, oh man, I lost 10 pounds. Yeah, but as soon as you
water.
have a carb, you get it right back. Well, we're going to get off topic if we go there.
Yeah.
So what else about strength-wise? Have you noticed anything with your strength? Do you feel like you're progressing okay? Or
the week 1, I was feeling like super strong, dude. I felt like a beast. But week 2, Wednesday was terrible. Wednesday was really rough. I've got to squat very heavy today, about 90%, 95% of my max.
we'll see how it
See what
goes.
happens. Yeah. If I
Yeah,
fail,
so
I fail.
we'll come back and update you because I'm
Yeah.
really curious as how the next couple weeks go with
Yeah.
the strength training while getting ketosis and everything, and if you can maintain his strength being on the carnivore diet. I mean, there's been some people that have documented they have, and they've gotten stronger on it. So it's you can. We'll just see what happens. So what else? Any other high points on the carnivore diet? We talked about eating nose to tail.
Nose to tail.
A little more about that.
So you can't just eat the muscle tissue of the animal. You're going to need a source of glycine, which you can find in connective tissue, tendons, and things like that. But you can find a collagen supplement, which glycine, which is what you need to make collagen. But if you find a collagen powder, you can get that, and then glycine will come with that. You don't need BCAAs. You don't need glutamine or beta-alanine. These things are all found in abundance in meat.
Yeah.
In fact, you don't need a lot of any supplements except for you're going to need some kind of bone powder, bone meal that's got calcium and boron and trace minerals that you're going to need for the long term. What else? Liver. You're going to have some sort of vitamin C, heart or liver. Omegas.
Yeah, that's one thing I was wondering with the plants. Like you're eating all your vitamins from there. Like you said, vitamin C. Like what that comes from? What you said, liver.
Liver. You can get it's a small amount, but your body doesn't need that much vitamin C. In fact, too much creates oxalates, and oxalates are also a lot of those are found in vegetables, and that's it's a whole other thing. A lot of the carnivore people are anti-oxalate, and they believe that the oxalates are what is causing a lot of the damage from the plants. So definitely want to steer away from oxalates.
Okay, so you can get what you need eating nose to tail.
Yes.
It's just you have to kind of understand and don't go into this thinking you can just eat meat.
Right.
Like it's not just muscle tissue, like you said. You can supplement, so you don't have to sit there and chew on a tendon.
Yes.
You could actually supplement with some of these things.
Omegas. You can get omegas from egg yolks or salmon. Salmon roe is a really digestible form that a lot of people are doing.
That's salmon eggs.
Yeah, I got some of that, and maybe the brand was not good. I did not like it at all. It's terrible.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You're still eating it or no? You just cut that
No.
out?
Yeah. I'm eating eggs. Hopefully that's enough omegas. I'll find out once I get through the keto week. I'll do a little more research. Right now, I'm just.
And then you said egg yolks. What about egg whites?
Well, so the albumin apparently binds to biotin, and that's not good. And also, it's protein. I mean, you're getting enough protein. I just do the egg yolks kind of as a sauce and to add more fats. You've got to make sure that you have a high fat intake. This is a keto diet. If you only ate protein, there's something called rabbit starvation. It's some North Pole explorers. They were eating, just lean meats from rabbits, what they could catch, and they died because you have to have either glucose or fats as an energy source. Protein is not going to do it. So I supplement with either beef tallow and or egg yolks.
What's beef tallow?
Beef tallow is just rendered beef fat. I mean, you can buy it. It's in a jar, but you're not using olive oil or coconut oil, obviously.
Yeah. So it's an animal fat.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So yeah, make sure if you're going to do this, you can keep your fats high. It's going to be a real high fat diet, but it has to be
Animal products.
Animal-based fats.
Remember, everything that goes in your body is an animal product or it doesn't go in there. Somebody was discussing cricket flour.
That sounds good.
Possibly. I'd have to do some research, make sure there's no carbs in it, but I think it's an okay.
Cricket flour.
Yeah, you get your.
All right.
It had a face. It had a mom. It's not a plant, so you can eat it.
There you go.
You could eat crickets if you want to.
Sounds like a good diet. So this diet isn't for everybody, right? We're not saying it is. We're not saying it's the cure-all, end-all for everything. But there has been evidence that shows that it can be very beneficial for people with anti-inflammatory disease, Carrie listed things like bipolar, depression, Crohn's, Hashimoto, arthritis, things like that. So
Rheumatoid arthritis.
if you have these types of issues, it may be something to look into. Like if you've tried different medicines and tried different diets or lifestyle changes and it's not working, You know, some of these can be really tough to live with. So if this has a shot at curing or helping that, I don't see why you wouldn't try it.
Most of these people that cured it had been going through physicians and drugs and medication for years.
Yeah.
And miracle cure, that's why I've got to try to make sure it's sustainable, and so I can tell other people, if you have these problems, you can fix them.
Yeah. Now with the muscle growth mindset here, right? That's what we're all about. You know, building muscle, building strength, and you know, working on your mindset to do these things. Would this be a diet for someone with the muscle growth mindset? I mean, you're doing it, but you're kind of experimenting right now. Is this a strength training diet? Is this a bodybuilding diet?
I don't know if it's a bodybuilding diet, and I don't know how far you could adapt to it. I know that I think you can manipulate more variables in your favor with exogenous glucose. So I don't think it's the best way to bodybuild. But if you want to look like a bodybuilder all year long, you can still gain muscle on it and have a physique of a bodybuilder.
Yeah. So it may not be, in my opinion, I don't think, and I said the same thing about like keto diets and a couple other things, I don't think it's the most efficient way to get there. Could you build muscle? Yes. Can you get lean on it? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be great for someone that's an overeater. You can't really overeat.
It's hard.
Really hard to
It's
overeat
tough.
on meat.
You can overdo the fats. You could definitely overdo the fats, but let's just...
It'd be a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, outside of that, I don't think it's, you know, number one on the list for bodybuilding or number one on the list for a strength training athlete, but I'm not saying it can't be done.
Yeah. I'm going to find out.
Like we always say, do your own research. Hopefully that's a lot of good information. We kind of hit a lot of different things, went all over the place a little bit. It's really interesting. We're curious about it. If you are, just keep checking in with us. We're going to do some updates on how Carrie's doing with it, and as we continue to find more information, we'll share that.
Yep.
So for today, that's it. Stay tuned for the next video. Until then,
don't forget rule number 1.
Hey everybody, I hope you really enjoyed our video. Please like and subscribe if you did.
And if you want to see more, or if you have any questions, leave some comments. Thanks for watching.